rantandraveinfection.blip.tv. So, I've been playing video games for 13 years, and I've yet to see an official product without instruction manuals. Obviously, stolen or unofficial or even used games aren't necessarily expected to have any, but they don't count. Even used games had one when they were brand new. Indeed, instruction manuals have been a mandatory part of gaming since the late 70s. Going back to the cartridges of the Intellivision in 1979, they had really simple instruction manuals, and it was one of the first home consoles to include instruction booklets. From the 80s throughout the 90s, manuals were relatively useful in order to fully appreciate a game. There were certain in-game moves and abilities that can only be discovered in an instruction booklet, especially fighting games. But ever since the 128 megabit era, that would be the 6th generation, developers heavily included on-screen instructions throughout the course of a game. Want to know how to do a double jump in Jak and Daxter? Text will tell you. But how do I use Force Lift in Revenge of the Sith? The game will tell you. So how can I perform my finishing maneuver in Def Jam Vendetta? The game will show you. Matter of fact, almost every game for the PS2, Xbox, and GameCube had some kind of gameplay on-screen manual, and this standard continues today. Some might even argue that these on-screen tidbits ruin the game's difficulty, rendering it far too easy. Some have even compared it to having your hand held the whole game, posing as a default walkthrough. Unfortunately, they might be right. I find a lot of games today very beatable thanks to these instructions, and I certainly don't use manuals anymore. As a kid in the 90s, I read booklets because they came with the game. It was a collector's thing, and it was nice to read a character's backstory. I can distinctly remember looking through Pokemon Blue's thick instruction booklet, taking in the different character designs and artwork. Nowadays, a lot of instruction manuals are relatively thin, very bone-basic startup guides that contain no exciting bonus material. If companies today start putting extra content, such as stickers and exclusive artwork, in the booklets, gamers might start caring again. Sure, there's always the gimmick judgment, players feeling that if manuals turned into freebie factories, the intent would change completely from a helpful guide to corporate shilling. But let's face the reality. Stickers are cool, it's always great to see freebies, and manuals alone have become obsolete. Instruction booklets are nothing but a waste of money and paper. So either turn them into gimmick-filled leaflets, free stickers, free artwork, things like that, or scrap them altogether. Stop making them. Now, earlier, I mentioned how easy games seem to have gotten these days. Most noobs can pick up a game and follow the on-screen help and complete stages in no time. Compare a current generation title like Infamous to Ninja Gaiden, for example. The original Nintendo Ninja Gaiden was very challenging and was part of the 80s platformer action gaming movement. There were no on-screen guides or hints. You had to slug it out by yourself with countless enemies jumping at you in every turn. One can always argue that, well, it was simpler back then. Of course, it was harder. Game designs had limited capacity to create a challenging experience. It's not like they weren't fun, they were just simpler. So wait, simplicity is equivalent to sheer difficulty? I don't believe in this argument because games today aren't necessarily easier due to more complex design. Games today are easier partly because of the aforementioned on-screen guides. When a game is telling you where to go and how to do this and that every 5 minutes, of course, it'll be more straightforward. Imagine if Ninja Gaiden, for example, told you what to do before every jump or every boss fight. Press this, press that, hit that, jump here. The trial and error factor would greatly decrease since old games rely a lot on this element. This is what make games good or bad, depending on your preference. I personally believe it's more of a positive thing. The idea is to have an enjoyable gameplay mixed with repetitive action. You'll most likely keep dying over and over again because of the difficulty, but the actual experience is fun since the controls are smooth and very responsive. That's what Ninja Gaiden is all about. Now imagine what you can do with today's technology. My suggestion is to completely remove on-screen instructions. Let the damn player figure it all out by themselves through trial and error, thus raising the difficulty significantly higher. Now I would understand many current games have selectable difficulty modes ranging from easy to very hard. God of War can be extremely tough on God mode, so it's not like these current games have no option to be challenging. That was never an issue to begin with. Perhaps what developers should do is exclude the abysmal easy mode, since this level makes the game truly passive. Even medium mode can be somewhat underwhelming. It's not precisely sure where to draw the line between challenging and drop-dead difficult. But as long as it's fun, I think veteran gamers and casual gamers shouldn't feel underwhelmed or overwhelmed by the current generation's lack of trial and error. Well, that's it for my rant about instruction manuals and the sheer utter uselessness of them nowadays, and the level of difficulty of today's video games. Now I hope you tune in next time, and we're gonna be ranting about other topics, video game related, I'm sure. Don't forget to check out rantandravenfection.blip.tv. That's where all my full rants and full videos are. Go peep that right now. Peace.